Childhood obesity, a major issue in America, but especially among African Americans. According to the CDC, childhood obesity has tripled over the last 40 years, with 1 in 5 school-aged children becoming obese and 20% of African American children suffering from obesity. September is Childhood Obesity Awareness Month, and so we're going to chat with Deanna Robinson on the show to talk about possible solutions. So how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, doing good. So, all right, so we know the problem. How do we fix the problem?
Yeah, well, let's go into depth about the problem a little bit more. So we're seeing that we have less opportunity for physical activity in our communities. So we're seeing less safe green spaces for our children to play, and research shows that children that live within 2/3 of a mile of a park are more likely to be at a healthier weight. And so if we don't have safe parks, safe green spaces that children can play, then we're going to see this level of childhood obesity continue to increase.
But you also, of course, don't have the same level of physical education in schools.
Definitely, that's definitely true. Yeah, and it definitely starts in the school. Children are spending most of their times in schools, and so as we continue to as we continue to take away recess and take away their playtime, then we are continuing to increase the problem.
So, so what do we do this? So, if you don't have the green spaces, you're not seeing it in schools. What should parents be doing? I mean, so if some parents might say, "Look, my community is not safe."
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you saying they do inside the home?
Right, so we have to make sure that we're limiting screen time. So making sure that we're kind of taking away that iPhone from them, taking away their iPad, not letting them sit in front of the TV for 3-4 hours a day, and we're making them get up and move and be active like we used to do when we were children. I mean, even if you can't go outside and play, there's space in the home where they can still be active.
Chris, you have a health organization, and obviously this is a big piece. You've got childhood obesity. It's going to impact when they're an adult.
Yeah, so I think it's a good idea in terms of limiting the screen time and all of those kinds of things. You know, I go back to when I was a kid, a long time ago, but the whole idea of walking, for example,
right.
Instead of picking up the kids, taking them here, taking them there, walking is one of the things within the house. What about the idea of having things like bars or ropes or any of those kinds of things that you can easily put on the door, take them off as needed? What do you think about that?
Definitely, I love those ideas. I mean, there's so many different new apparatuses that we can use now in the home to be more physically active. You know, with the walking inside and outside of the home,
Yes.
we don't have walkable communities anymore, especially in these low-income Black communities. We don't have street lights. You know, we don't have sidewalks, so we have sidewalks that are kind of inaccessible. So we have to make sure that we have walkable communities as well.
Today is National Cheeseburger Day.
Okay. Okay.
But we live in a country where
You just want to let us know.
I just want to let us know.
Okay, all right. Okay.
But we live in a country where, as much as we talk about health and fitness, how do we change the paradigm, the messaging, the narrative that for obesity? Because we live in a culture where eating cheeseburgers.
Fast.
Yeah. I mean, and we as consumers have power. I mean, 8% of African Americans, only 8% of African Americans live in communities where there are supermarkets, and compared to 31% of whites that live in communities with supermarkets.
You're speaking of the food deserts. Right.
Exactly, the food deserts, exactly. So
Right, because the corner stores, they don't have fresh fruits and vegetables
and when
coming
every
in.
corner, there's a convenience store or a liquor store, we're just selling high fatty foods, high sugar foods, and we're not getting, you know, the good produce and the healthy foods that we need to have.
This is also a highly digital age that we live in. It's very difficult to get away from sitting around the computer. And I'm not sure how we dodge that. But I mean, the walking idea obviously is a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, but see, this is also where I think where now granted, it's as an additional cost, but where you now have the wearable devices that will say, hey, get up.
Yeah.
Well, you've been sitting in one spot for too long. I mean, that's just really one of those things. But it requires folks to be proactive with it. And even if you don't have the equipment you're talking about, if you say, all right, you're gonna do jumping jacks, 25 cents. So give our folks. So let's just say you have no equipment. You got limited space. 4 exercises a kid can do. No, seriously.
Yeah.
For anybody watching, 4 exercises a kid can do, or they can do with their child in a limited space.
Yeah. Well, you know what? So honestly, children don't even need to particularly exercise as adults would need to exercise. Children just need to be more physically active. I mean, all children are more inclined to be active, to be physically active.
Right.
And so if we just take away the screens from them, they'll find ways to be active.
No. We ain't gonna let them find ways. I'm asking you right now. I want you to give right now 4 exercises
Definitely.
that they can do in a very small area,
Yep.
where you could say, do some jumping jacks.
Got you. So
That's one.
I actually own a gym in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, and we have childhood fitness classes.
Okay.
And so we do things like jumping jacks. We have like hula hoops, and they use hula hoops.
Okay,
We
got
have
hula hoop.
balls
That's
where
2.
We pass balls back and forth. We do push-ups. We
Okay,
do
push-ups is 3.
jump ropes.
Okay, we ain't got room for jump ropes.
We don't have room for
Break's gonna
jump
break
ropes.
something.
We got squats.
Okay, we got squats.
Sit-ups,
5, 4.
crunches
Okay,
with
sit-ups
a
is 5.
friend.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, so again, you can do hula hoop, you can do jumping jacks, you can do squat, you can do push-ups, and what was the other one?
Did we say sit-ups?
Well, I did 4, so that's 4. That's 4 there. So again, for the folks who don't have equipment, don't have a gym membership, that's what they can do with their kid. Get them going right now.
Definitely, yeah.
And the nutrition aspect of it also is very important.
Very.
Because that's really where it begins, is in the kitchen, not in the gym,
Right.
so to
Right.
speak.
But we also can get their butt up though.
Yeah, we got to get
That's
that
true.
butt.
And it has to be
butt up.
intergenerational thing. We have to educate the entire family, not just the children.
Yeah.
Give
but
folks
just
your
don't take away my
give folks your website. Give folks your website.
My website is DeannaJeffersonFitness.com.
All right, we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
We come back, we'll talk image, and also we'll chat with Lettucey about her new CD. All of that. It is 15 before top of the hour. News 1 now on TV 1.